Yes, everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to another, yet again, full day of eating. We have just gotten under 12 weeks out from show number 1, and I'm going to take you to a full day of eating. Now, the day did begin a lot earlier than this, back at 5:30 this morning, but you know me, you know my full days of eating, they don't start as early as that. So the morning for me is just looking like water first thing, hydrating, a big thing for you as well. If you find in the morning that you feel like you're hungry, realistically you're just dehydrated from the night before, from sleeping and not having any water going through you. You're not actually hungry, you're just thirsty. So loads of water in the morning. We go straight for a black coffee then. I also have a black tea, and then some mornings I'll have an additional black coffee as well, depending on how busy we are, which is a day like today. I am 2 coffees in, I'm a cup of tea in, I'm a few litres of water in, and it's nearly 1 o'clock and we're about to have meal 1. I'm just back from a job, I'm just back from filming for a few hours with a client, and we're about to get stuck into meal number 1. It's also a training day, so we've got a little bit more food than we usually do on a rest day, but I'm also going to do a rest day, full day of eating. You're just going to have to subscribe and wait out for that. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, do please subscribe. We're very, very close to 1,000 subscribers and I cannot wait to hit it. And it keeps me going. We're doing these videos on the daily, obviously showing you the ins and outs, the detail that you mightn't see on other social media platforms of what it's like to prep for a bodybuilding show for the first time. I'm in Ireland. If you don't know me, David Massy, I'm 23. Obviously I should do a video of me and who I am, but today we're going to do a video on everything that I'm eating on a training day to get shredded for my first show. So before we get into it, you might want to know the macros for the whole day as well. Some people might be on very similar calories, very similar macros, and this might work really well for you. I am currently on 220 grams of protein, 325 grams of carbs, and 35 grams of fat on a training day. If you're on less calories, you just make some manipulations to the amounts, the quantities that I'm having. If you're on more calories, same thing goes as well. This should be a really good template for someone that might want to eat between 5 and 6 meals every single day and nail their food, getting in all the macronutrients and micronutrients alongside that as well. You know, there's going to be plenty of fruit, there's going to be plenty of veg and plenty of variety going in there as well. This is far from a boring diet, and I think that's a big tip I can give you straight away is keep the diet interesting, not too crazy to the fact that you can't like stick to it on a very busy day that you might have to just eat your meals on the go and stuff that you can't take with you. You know, my meals are set up to the point that anyone who's working on the road, anyone who's working away from home, as a lot of people are, and most people watching this probably will be, all this food can be put in lunch boxes and taken with you exactly the same way as it could be eaten at home. So meal number 1, always accompanied by my Reese's mug with a cup of black tea inside it. I love tea, especially in the mornings and especially at night, for whatever reason it might be. We've got my overnight protein oats. Now, I do make these in the morning, so technically they're not overnight oats, but in here, they're cold oats that I keep in the fridge and cook them as I normally would, and then I put them in the fridge and they're cold. Kind of like overnight oats consistency, to be completely honest with you. In there, we have 80 grams of oats. We have 250 grams of frozen fruit. We have 125 grams of frozen raspberries, 125 grams of frozen blueberries. And then on top, in the form of a sludge, is 35 grams of Perform cereal milk, which you might be able to see actually there behind me. Probably my favorite protein powder. If you haven't tried it yet, I really do recommend it. I really do recommend a lot of the Perform whey proteins as well. And then on top, that brown stuff is ground cinnamon, and we do also have pink salt and low salt on there. And I'll give you the macros for every single meal. This is going to be my pre-training meal, so pre-workout, I want lots of carbs going in. 511 calories, 73 grams of carbs, 6 grams of fat, and 37 grams of protein. So 6 grams of fat, mainly coming from the oats and a little bit from the protein. I don't actually have a direct fat source here in this meal. I don't have any dark chocolate, I don't have any peanut butters or anything like that. Just unnecessary calories for me to have in this meal that's not going to give me a great bang for my buck. Again, my fat is quite low on a daily basis, so there isn't that much room here for meal 1 anyway, for me to fit those in. So that's what meal 1 is looking like. I'm going to scran this. I'll leave that digest for about an hour, and then I'll be in the gym, I'll be training, and we'll be home for the post-workout meal. So I'll catch you then. Yes, we're back from the gym. Post-workout is about to go down. I got an alright little pump, you know. During prep, sessions are going to be good. Some sessions are going to be not so good. Some sessions are going to be really good. Today was one of those in the middle kind of sessions, and I am in a little bit of a hole right now, but it is what it is. I'm showing on the daily the reality of going through a bodybuilding prep for the first time. But yeah, home from the gym, that was a leg and a pull workout. I have been recording a good few sessions, so go back on the channel if you want to see what that whole session is included in that whole session, I should say. My brain is a little bit foggy after training, to be fair, and I need to get fuel into me. Do have a look back on the channel. That session from last week has been recorded, but we're going to get post-workout in, and as you would have seen, we do cream of rice. So cream of rice is something I have been doing since getting back into prep. I didn't do it really through the gaining phase, but cream of rice is something I like utilising at the moment. Why? Because my hunger, to be completely honest with you, 12 weeks out right now is not in a high spot. You know, yeah, I am that little bit hungry, but the way I have the diet set up, I'm never really starving. You know, I'm never like, oh my God, I can't, like I need to get food into me. I need to do this for me. So I just find post-workout right now, cream of rice just goes down way easier than my post-workout oats would. The pre-workout oats, you know, slower digestion, there's more fibre in the oats, they're going to fill me up that little bit more pre-workout for, I suppose, longer sustained energy, you could say. Again, I just like oats as well. A lot of it is to do with like preference, of course, and I like my cream of rice, so I have that little bit of variety there. Cream of rice is just a lot less fat, a lot less fibre. It's going to go down easier post-workout, and it's really, really tasty. Now, to go with that, I have Trained by JP, vanilla flavour cream of rice. I do have other flavours there as well. I'm just on the vanilla at the moment. I like the vanilla. And then we also do have, again, as you will see, as you will know by now, my favourite, the Perform cereal milk. Now, I was expecting to come home to a bit of a supplement order, so I would make a different sludge. I was looking forward to it, but that's just going to have to wait until tomorrow because it didn't arrive. I usually have my sludge made in the fridge already. I do have the cream of rice made in the fridge already, which I'm going to show you now. Exactly like I make my oats, I make my cream of rice and I put it in the fridge nice and cold. And especially with the weather in Ireland at the moment, I much prefer the colder, you know, fruitier foods and the sweeter foods colder than I do hot at sometimes. So I'm going to put this as a sludge right now. If you don't know how to make a sludge, it is literally just your protein in a mug with a little bit of water on top. So for argument's sake, if I'm doing 40 grams of whey protein, I'll do 40 to 50 ml of water, mix it up, pour it over the top. Absolutely delicious. Whoa. Feast your eyes on that. There we have it, the post-workout meal. In here we have 80 grams of vanilla Trained by JP cream of rice. We might get a thumbnail here as well, will we? And then we have 250 grams, just like meal one, the pre-workout meal. You see there, I'm having a lot of frozen fruit because of the volume that I get from it. And it just tastes unreal. Like, it's probably one of my favorite parts of the meal. 250 grams, we have 125 grams of frozen raspberries, 125 grams of frozen blueberries. Again, we have 35 grams of whey in the form of a sludge. And then on top there is going to go again my salt and my cinnamon, and I will have a cup of tea with that post-workout. And that's just my routine. I am very behind on food today. Do as I say, not as I do. It's just been a super busy day, and that's the next tip that I can give you if you're dieting and you're struggling with hunger a small little bit at the moment, is making yourself as busy as you possibly can so that you're not always thinking about food, especially as the diet goes along. You know, food focus gets a little bit higher, hunger obviously gets a little bit higher, which is required for you to get lean. The body's going to start feeling hungry, and don't always shy away from that feeling of being hungry. It's a good thing. You know, if I'm hungry, think of it in a way as, okay, I'm hungry right now, something is happening. You know, I'm losing body fat here. So the macros, a little bit less calories, but a little bit higher carb post-workout. A lot less fat in this meal as well. As I said, there's a lot more fat in oats compared to cream of rice. So we have 487 calories, 83 gram of carb, 2 fat, which is actually a really good thing post-workout. The uptake of the carbohydrates, the digestion of the food is going to be a lot quicker. We're going to kickstart that recovery process after the gym a lot quicker. Even though it has been a while since I got back from the gym, I had a little bit of work to do. My body's in a state now where it's relaxed and it's going to uptake that nutrition, uptake those carbohydrates really well and really quick. And then 34 grams of protein. So as you know, as I said, I split my food across 6 meals. Today, not the most ideal. Like, if you watch my videos on a daily basis, you know that they are usually spread out a lot more across the day, which I think is another really handy tip. I'm bringing loads of tips for you today. Is actually spreading food, little and often throughout the entire day, so that you never go too long without food. You never go too long with being absolutely starving. All right, obviously depending on how much food you have there available, but I'm able to split 2,500 odd calories up into 6 meals and have 6 really good sized meals because I put effort into my food. You know what I mean? So that is meal 2 going in a little bit later in the day. As I said to you, it is currently after 4 o'clock. I have been up since 5:30, which isn't ideal. It's not what every day looks like, but I'm showing you what a realistic full day of eating on prep looks like. That's just the way it is today. That's just the way it is. So I'm going to chill on the couch with this one and absolutely enjoy every bite, but I'm going to give you a little taste test. I never gave you a taste test of meal 1 this morning. Cream rice out of the fridge, cold, thick, absolutely delicious. So I'm going to give you a little bite. We've got cream rice, Perform sludge, frozen fruit, salt, cinnamon. Food is life. Beautiful. We're back for another meal. A shower is needed, but I've just been on the laptop for the last while. I also did a couple of steps. Another tip for you is digestion. To keep digestion in a really good spot, I do recommend some movement after you eat a meal. It's going to make that food go down much quicker. It's going to really help with your appetite and your GI function, your GI health, you could say. Just the overall way you're going to absorb food, digest food and everything. So definitely a couple of steps. It doesn't need to be anything major. If you're at work, you've just had your lunch, getting a couple of steps in is going to help you feel better when you go back to the desk, and same goes for any time of the day. Maybe not towards the very end of the day. I'm not expecting someone to go out and get a couple of steps in at 10 o'clock at night, when it might be dark, but as much as you can, it is just going to help. There's small little things that can help as time goes along if you want to get, the most out of everything that you're trying to do. So we have got the first savoury meal of the day, you could say. And this is probably, as of right now, my favourite meal. This was a staple for me over the years of dieting. Not even just dieting, just a staple for me, to be completely honest. We've got eggs. So I'm going to show you exactly what goes into this. We're going to whip it up. We also have bread here. We're getting shredded eating bread for as long as we possibly can in here. There probably will come a point in time very soon where bread is no longer in the diet, but I'm going to enjoy it for now while I can. 5 eggs. Now, not all whole eggs. I'm only eating 1 whole egg out of these 5. The rest, I'm just eating egg whites. So I'm going to get these separated. We have veg here then as well. We have some spinach for volume, really great for volume, I think anyway. And then we also have, if you see in my last footage of eating, I buy already pre-chopped peppers and onions. It just makes life a lot easier for me, saves me chopping up a load. And yeah, with my veg, I don't track it. You'll see it doesn't go towards my total daily calories, my total daily macros. I just keep it consistent every single day with everything I'm doing for the most part, unless I'm making an actual switch to the veg that I'm having, and then I'll just keep that consistent throughout then as well. But veg is super low in calories. There's no reason for you to be weighing out a bit of broccoli, weighing out a bit of lettuce. It's not that's stopping you from losing weight. So don't worry about tracking it. If I'm able to lose weight without tracking veg, you are certainly going to be able to do that as well. So this seasoning, lads, from Aldi, Smoky Barbecue, is what I've been using for absolute months. If you haven't tried it, please try it and tell me what you think, because it is unbelievable. Typically I'd have this done a lot earlier in the day so I can get the meal in. Obviously I haven't done that today, but it is what it is. So I have 160 gram of raw weight chicken chopped up here and put into the air fryer, and we just take a little bit of this seasoning then. Again, all these seasonings, everything that I use to do with seasonings, sauces and everything, I don't track them either. Okay, I'm not using any high calorie sauces, high calorie seasonings and everything. I'm using everything that's kind of low calorie, you could say, but I'm not tracking them. I'm just keeping them consistent with every single meal, every single day. And again, they're not those things that you need to be stressing about. They're not the things that are going to stop you from losing the fat that you're trying to lose right now, okay? That goes in the air fryer, and we cook it up with more veg. The bread. I am in the process of cleaning the kitchen behind me. This is reality of it. This is the reality of it. So we have here, which would usually be sourdough, if you saw it in the last couple of full days of eating. Sourdough has kind of come out now ever since, and we have like 60 calorie bread, you could say. The Brennan's Be Good 60 calorie bread, if you're from Ireland, if you know, you know, is absolutely unreal. Didn't have any of that in the shop, so I've got here just some 58 calorie thin brown bread. Now, again, doesn't matter the difference between white or brown. We've got 4 slices of that with this meal. 4 slices. There we have it. Meal number 3 for today. Meal number 3. We have our bread, omelette, eggs on toast with our bit of veg, getting the micronutrients in, getting some colour on the plate, you know, getting extra flavour in there. It's good for us, you know what I mean? It's going to fill me up. There's more volume going in there. It's absolutely delicious. We had cumin and smoked paprika in there. Salt went in as well, as always. The exact same amount of salt on all my meals, pretty much for the most part. My sauces of choice for this meal we have, and this is a great way as well for my coach Keane to have a look at what my diet looks like on a day-to-day basis, and for him to be able to be like, okay lad, you need to change this, change that. But I'm just keeping everything consistent, alright? So I've got my lighter than light mayonnaise. This is the 11 calorie per serving one from Aldi, and then I have my 50% less sugar tomato ketchup. Tomato ketchup is the goat. Ketchup is the goat. Ketchup will never fail you. I know some people love it, some people hate it. I do, and I was looking for it. I might be in Tesco. I haven't been able to find it in Aldi or Lidl. I wouldn't mind a little bit of mustard at this point in time, to be honest. But with the sauce, again, just something that I'm doing consistently every single day. So we've got a little bit of mayonnaise on those two, and we've got and we have a little bit of ketchup on these two. Sometimes if I'm feeling like a bit of sporadic, I'll just go baba, baba. That's pretty much it for the sauces. Just brings that flavour there. You see what all the meals say, like the enjoyment level is super, super high, and that's super, super important for adherence. Super, super important. You know, you might have the diet set up absolutely perfectly, and good, I hope you do. Like I'm talking with my coach there, it's the accountability that you might be missing out on. Having someone to answer to is what you might be missing out on. And of course, this is exactly what I do. You know, I coach people every single week towards their goals, whether that be fat loss, building muscle, building a better relationship with their food, both in and out of the gym. So everything that we've got to do here with building, you know, a better lifestyle, everything around fitness, everything around training and nutrition. That's what I coach people to do every single day, and I absolutely love it. The macros for this meal, let me tell you, let me flip her to the side, is 376 calories. So again, no veg being tracked here, just the eggs, egg whites, bread, no sauce. We have 376 calories, 41 gram of carbs, 7 grams of fat, and 31 grams of protein for this meal. And that's, you know, a good meal for 375 calories, you know what I mean? You could do, and what I have done in the past, and potentially what I will do soon when appetite does pick up, is change the bread for potatoes. Potatoes are obviously going to be a lot more filling, a lot more satiating, but right now I'm enjoying my bread, and I'm going to enjoy my bread for as long as I possibly can. But yeah, that is meal 3. We'll go for a walk after this. I've got last bits of work to do for the rest of the day. As you'll see, it's going to be bright potentially till the end of the video today, which is the first in a long time since we've done a full day of eating. We're living in Ireland, if you're new to the channel, and the clocks went back or went forward, whatever way they went last week, and there's a lot more brightness there. A lot more brightness there in the mornings and in the evenings, which is lovely. So I'm going to get out for a walk with the dog, finish off the steps for the day, and then we'll be getting the last couple of meals in. Aldi diet drinks are goated. I don't know if you can see the little man there. We are out for some evening steps, capping off the steps for the day. My targets at the moment, you know, talking other than food at the moment, are
Cardio is 5 days a week, 55 minutes, and 2 days a week, 30 minutes. So if you're not following along the daily videos, that just got up this week. So I think it's like 315, maybe 325 minutes total for the whole week. And then my steps are 16,000 every single day. And I'm training 5 days a week. So
also a lot of my waddy goes in every single day. I think this is around a litre jug. I'm taking in at the moment about 8 litres of water every single day, to be completely honest, of just water alone. Now, not all of that is with my waddy, but a good few of the litres that I drink are with my waddy every single day. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If it helps you and makes you get water drank, by all means, get it into you. Number 4 here on deck, as I said, we've got rice, chicken, lettuce, pepper, onion, a little bit of kimchi, lad, fancy, mainly just because of the taste. I absolutely love the taste of it. And then we've got the same sauce on top. You might be wondering, ketchup on top of lettuce, and yeah, ketchup on top of anything, to be quite honest with you. I was doing broccoli with my meat meals, still do most days, you know, when appetite is normal, but just with meals being a little bit close together today, I do find the lettuce goes down a little bit easier. But we've got 160 grams of raw weight chicken. Am I right? Or we might have a little bit more actually. More, 170 grams, apologies. 170 grams of raw weight chicken. We have 80 grams of dry weight basmati rice that gets cooked in the microwave. Very, very handy. And then we have, yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, I'm not tracking the veg, as I said to you. 437 calories. We have 53 gram of carb, 4 gram of fat, and 46 grams of protein. 46 grams of protein. Sitting here, eating my meals, relaxing, winding down for the evening. This is where the muscle is being built. I know you might think the muscle has been built in the gym when you're in there multiple times a week, but here, when I go to bed, this is the time that the muscle is being built, lads. Remember that. So make use of it as much as you possibly can. Around eating as well, try and be eating as much as you can in like a relaxed environment, in a relaxed state. Like, the body does not want to digest food when it's in a stress state. So try and be in a relaxed state as much as you can. Mediterranean style turkey burgers from Aldi. The smell off them, lad. Absolutely delicious. A couple of weeks ago, before I introduced turkey burgers back in the diet, I was doing mince meat always. 5% low fat mince. Never say never, like there probably will be a bit of that coming back in every once in a while just for a little bit of variety, but I'm on the turkey burger hype at the moment and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm going to whip this up really quick. We've got pretty much the exact same as meal 4, but just turkey burgers instead of chicken. 80 grams of basmati rice again, boys. Is this the same bowl we ate the last meal with? It possibly is. Don't shoot me. Alright, it's going in the wash after this meal. No point in using 2 bowls for the sake of it, and I really like this bowl. So we've got a little bit of iceberg again in there, and again, I probably would prefer broccoli, a little bit of broccoli in there, but again, just working with the lettuce because it's easier today and it's just going to go down easier. So just keeping it consistent. You know, do I need that lettuce? Maybe not, but it's just because that's what I've been doing every single day. So I'm just trying to keep it as consistent as possible, and I don't feel full at all. You know, I can just put this food away absolutely fine now. Enjoy it and be satisfied. Be absolutely satisfied. What a protein source. Like, what a beautiful way to hit protein every single day. We're going to get this into us. We have same again on top of this. A little bit of light mayonnaise. We got a little bit of light ketchup, salt, and I'm going to sit in front of the TV with this with a Coke Zero. I'm going to enjoy a Coke Zero. More than likely probably after the meal, to be fair. We're not doing too bad. It's coming up on 9 o'clock. It's actually not too bad. You know, the food has continued to go in relatively quick. So in this meal we have meal number 5, 450 calories. From literally just being tracked here is the turkey burgers and the rice. So we have 2 Aldi turkey burgers, and then we have 80 grams of uncooked weight basmati rice. It's 60 gram of carbs, 4 grams of fat here again, and then 42 grams of protein. And we'll be back for the final meal. So we have an Aldi version of a Coke Zero. These are absolutely delicious. We've made it to the final meal. If you don't know, get to know. If you've been watching the videos, following along, you know exactly what this is about to be. And for you, about 2 seconds. For me, about 3 minutes. This is the Ninja Creamy. 35 grams of, again, cereal perform and water. That is literally it. 20 grams of 85% dark chocolate. 13, 20 on the dot, lad. I always end up with like 19 grams and I'm just like, that's just 19 grams for the night then. And then also in the microwave, you saw there, 75 grams of frozen blueberries, which I should probably take out. 75 grams of frozen blueberries, man. Blueberries are never a fruit I would have eaten before. Look at the consistency of this. I mean, wow, that is mental. A full pint of ice cream, like 110, 15 calories. Then we have our 75 grams of melted blueberries, get them in on top there. And then we have our 20 grams of 85% dark chocolate for the final meal. 119 calories for the creamy itself, just on its own. And then we have the dark chocolate with the blueberries to wrap up the macros for the day. As you see there, that dark chocolate is like my main, like actual added fat source for the whole day. So 260 calories for the whole meal, 15 gram of carb, 9 gram of fat, 29 gram of protein. And that wraps up the full day. I'm going to get this in. We've got a cup of tea, take my last few sups that I take pre-bed. And that's everything I'm eating on a train day. We're going to hit the hay because my head is fried and we'll have a fresh head in the morning. I think we'll just do a little bit of a rundown of the macros, give you a little bit more of my thoughts around the whole full day of eating, why it's set up like that, anything else that's going through my head. I'm going to head to bed. I'll chat to you in the morning.
Yo, it's the next morning. I'm on my walking pad, doing my work. I just wanted to wrap it up. You know, last night, I probably couldn't have given as much to the last bit of the video, you know, to conclude everything that we did for the day. But the total calories, the total macros for the entire day came out at 220 grams of protein. That's the protein nailed. 325 gram of carb, nailed. 34 grams of fat. So a gram of fat short. So I may need to just have a relook at that, have a little rejig. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. You know, it's a gram of fat, 9 calories. All the sauce, you know, all the veg and everything that I'm eating. That's just the way the diet's set up, you know. So that's the total food for the entire day. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you a couple of ideas on, you know, what you could potentially do with your own diet. That's the full day of eating on a training day that I'm running with at the moment. Until food gets changed, where we'll do an updated full day of eating. We're going to do a rest day, full day of eating also this week. Probably my second rest day when we're a little bit further on in the week, at the end of the week, and I'll get that out for you to show you what I'm eating on a rest day with less food and obviously not training. But yeah, you saw there 6 meals, you know, it's a good bit of food for the amount of calories, you know, pretty much 2,500 calories in and around that. Macros are the most important thing, of course, you know, nail your macros, focus on protein, okay, protein sources first and foremost. You saw there, every single meal has a good amount of protein inside in it, spread across the 6 meals. You know, that's optimal enough, you could say. You know, there's not any meals in there that have no protein in them. Every single meal has protein, so we're getting protein into us every couple of hours, every single day, you know. Carbs spread across the day, you know, pre, post workout are kind of like 2 of the biggest bouts of carbs, but majority is kind of spread across the main 5 meals of the day. There isn't that many carbs in the final meal with the creamy, but man, that's absolutely amazing. Like, I really do recommend the Ninja Creamy to anyone. You know, it's about €200, I think, when I got it. I'm not too sure what the price of it is right now, but for anyone struggling that little bit with a diet, absolute game changer. You know, I say this now, but like, what's the point in spending 1,500 calories or 1,200 calories or whatever the case might be on a tub of Ben & Jerry's when you could have 120 calories for literally just protein in a tub for the same amount of food. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you can save yourself a lot of calories, and you can mix in whatever you want to the creamies as well, which is absolutely unreal. But yeah, plenty of variety, plenty of fruit, plenty of veg. That's what my full day of eating looks like on a training day. Currently just under 12 weeks out this Saturday coming, when you see this, we will be 11 weeks out. So we're getting close now. I appreciate everyone following along. I know this video might have been a bit long, but I want to give as much value as I possibly can on here. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate everyone who is subscribing. If you haven't already, it really does mean a lot when you do. If you do, send me a message, comment down below, subscribed, and let me thank you personally, because it does go a long way. And I know it's an easy thing to do, but most people watching these videos aren't actually subscribed. So drop the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment down below if there's anything you want to see in the next couple of videos. Thanks guys.